Joined now by Kyle Rowland from the Toledo Blade. And Kyle, Ohio State, Penn State. This is a series that the last 3 years, as the kids would say, has gotten redonkulous.
Yeah, I'm still speechless right now. We're like an hour after the game ended. Still hard to even process what occurred. 3 straight years, one of the teams has blown a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. Second straight year, Penn State has done so. Ohio State was faced with mission impossible tonight. They're down 12 points in the fourth quarter, a night game in this whiteout atmosphere, and they miraculously somehow come from behind. The Benjamin Victor touchdown obviously changed the entire tenor of this game and perhaps Ohio State's season. Even Urban Meyer said after the game, there was a moment where he kind of looked up and saw the fans waving the white pom-poms and thought the game was over. And then, 47 yards later, there's life. There's a spark in Ohio State. They hold Penn State. They get the ball back. They score again, go up, and then they withstand the fourth down play at the end of the game. Just absolutely incredible win. Not that Ohio State needed momentum, but a huge momentum boost. I mean, this is probably their toughest game of the season. Michigan, obviously, still the Michigan game, but, I mean, it's not even October yet, and I think Ohio State's through kind of the meat of their schedule. I mean, TCU was great. Penn State was great. They got through both of them and faced adversity in both.
I think one of the interesting things about this game, particularly in the fourth quarter, when Ohio State, they were playing without Nick Bosa to begin with, but then you lose Isaiah Pryor, you lose Arnett. Draymond Jones rolled an ankle. He was in a walking boot after the game, so this was not a healthy Ohio State defense, but at that final series, when they needed it the most, the defense came up.
Absolutely, and I think kind of the whole fourth quarter, or even maybe the final 7 minutes, like Haskins didn't play great throughout the game, but then he stepped up in the moments that he needed him. There were some iffy moments in the first half for the defense. 3 plays added up to 175 yards for Penn State. But when they needed to get the stops, they got them. I thought the linebackers were much improved, even though they had their moments. Trace McSorley, ran all over this offense. He has no business running for having 175 yards, so that'll certainly be something they look at this week. But, they stepped up when they needed it in the crunch time moments. The fourth down play, I think Ohio State's defense, they obviously had it, well planned out or whatever, but, that was just a abomination of a play call. 4th and 5, and they run this, zone read option up the middle. It just didn't make any sense to me. But you got to credit Ohio State's defense. In the fourth quarter, they really clamped down and got things done.
Clearly a far from perfect game for the Buckeyes, but they do get the victory, and they're not going to look forward, but we can look forward. And after this win at Penn State, they're home for Indiana, then they've got Purdue, then they've got Minnesota, and then a week off to Nebraska. So really the next 5 weeks, there shouldn't be a whole lot of challenges for Ohio State until they head up to East Lansing to take on Michigan State.
Yeah, no, and that's another game that's kind of been a thorn in Ohio State's side. They've lost to Michigan State multiple times under Urban Meyer. I don't know, they're still kind of a program that's trying to break through. I know they've been to the playoff and stuff, but it still seems like Michigan State's perpetually, fighting an uphill battle. I think it honestly goes into the Michigan game. I know that the Michigan State game's on the road. I think the Michigan game's the toughest remaining game, and I think that's kind of what's in between Ohio State and a perfect season.
Let's talk about Michigan. Today in Evanston, Michigan gave up the first 17 points, able to storm back, get the win. So while the Wolverines, they've now won 4 in a row, haven't looked as great as maybe perhaps some thought they would look, but they keep on getting the job done, and as long as Michigan keeps that momentum rolling, that game at the end of the season is going to be the big one.
Yeah, I think, Michigan, in my mind, is in a different circumstance than a lot of other teams. They're not truly in the playoff hunt right now. I don't think every win they have needs to be some dominant win. If you win ugly, whatever. Michigan just needs wins. And if you fall down 17-0 at Northwestern and don't look very good for a majority of the game, but you come away with a hard-fought win on the road, that's fine. I imagine they'll beat Maryland next week, and then they got the heck of a 3-game stretch with Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan State. There's a bye in between all those, but shaping up to be an exciting late November, as it usually is.
We'll wrap this up with going back to Ohio State. They get the win. There's certainly things that they saw in this game. When they break down the tape, there'll be a lot of other things they saw that they're going to need to improve. Certainly there's a lot they can build off of on this win, but there's a lot of things they do need to get fixed. in November? Because, as we said, in October it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it resides on the defensive side of the ball still. I mean, a lot. You saw how big Bosa's absence was today. I mean, there's no way Trace McSorley runs wild if Bosa's in the game. That said, Chase Young stepped up. He had a whale of a game. Had a really big pass bat down on a 4th down in the 3rd quarter that still ended up being a huge play. When Penn State got up big, it kind of got lost in the shuffle, but now it's kind of risen back up to being a monster play. Malik Harrison is playing at a really high level right now, a linebacker. So you got to kind of think that, Alex Grinch and Greg Schiano are so highly sought out. Their history, I mean, they're great coaches, so Ohio State's got talent. I assume that they're going to shore things up and get them fixed. They got a lot of time to do it and a lot of kind of middling opponents to do it against.
There you have it. Ohio State, they get the victory in Happy Valley, remain undefeated. Kyle Rowland from the Toledo Blade. He'll have much more on this game, both of the online and the print editions of the Blade.